My name is Lauren Hayes, and I'm 34 years old. 15 years ago, my mother looked at my wheelchair, looked at my sister, and made a decision that would erase me from existence. She told everyone I was dead. Not dying, not sick, dead. She held a memorial service. She accepted condolences. She cried fake tears while I was very much alive, just 40 miles away, learning to live without a family who couldn't stand the sight of me. For 15 years, I was a ghost. Cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, they all thought I was buried in Riverside Cemetery. There's even a headstone with my name on it. I've seen it. But 3 months ago, I walked into my mother's surprise 60th birthday party in front of 100 guests. The same guests who had mourned me. The same family who had sent flowers to my funeral. My mother dropped her champagne glass. My sister screamed. My father grabbed his chest, and I said 5 words that destroyed everything. "Hello, Mom. I'm not dead." Before I tell you what happened next, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if this story resonates with you. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time is it there. This story is painful to tell, but I think someone out there needs to hear it. Now let me take you back to where it all started. I was born different. Not wrong, not broken, just different. At 7 years old, I was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy. Progressive, degenerative. The doctors said I'd be in a wheelchair by 15, and they were right. But before the wheelchair, before the diagnosis became visible, I was just Lauren, the older daughter, the smart one, the one who loved books and dreamed of becoming a lawyer. Then Jessica was born. My sister came into this world 4 years after me, and from the moment she opened her eyes, I became invisible. Jessica was perfect. That's what everyone said. Perfect health, perfect smile, perfect everything. She was the daughter my mother actually wanted. I remember the day I knew things had changed forever. I was 9 years old. Jessica was 5. We were at the mall, shopping for school clothes. I was struggling to keep up. My legs were already getting weaker, though no one wanted to admit it. "Mom," I said, tugging her sleeve. "Can we sit down? My legs hurt." She didn't even look at me. "Jessica, honey, which dress do you want? The pink one or the purple one? Mom, please. I'm really tired." She finally turned. Her eyes were cold. "Lauren, stop being dramatic. You're fine." I wasn't fine. I collapsed right there in the middle of the store. My legs just gave out. You know what my mother did? She looked around to see if anyone was watching. Then she hissed at me. "Get up, you're embarrassing us." Jessica got 3 new dresses that day. I got a lecture about attention-seeking behavior. That was the beginning. The wheelchair came when I was 14. I remember the day we picked it up from the medical supply store. Dad was quiet, like he always was. Mom stood in the corner with her arms crossed, refusing to look at it. At me. "This is temporary," she said to the salesman. "She's going to physical therapy. She won't need it forever." The salesman looked uncomfortable. "Ma'am, with her condition, it's temporary," my mother repeated, her voice like ice. It wasn't temporary. It was my new reality, and my mother hated every inch of it. The wheelchair didn't fit in the house. That's what she said. We had to rearrange everything for me. The ramp at the front door was ugly. The accessible bathroom was too expensive. Meanwhile, Jessica got her own bedroom redone 3 times in 2 years. Pink, then purple, then teal. Whatever she wanted. I got a room in the basement. Easier for the wheelchair, Mom said. Less disruption for the family. Less visible, she meant. Less embarrassing. I was 15 when I heard her say it. The words that still echo in my nightmares. She was on the phone with her sister, my Aunt Carol. I was supposed to be asleep, but I'd wheeled myself to the kitchen for water. I stopped in the hallway when I heard my name. "I don't know what to do with her, Carol." Mom's voice was thick with frustration. She's like a constant reminder that something went wrong. Every time I look at her, I see failure. My failure. A pause. Then, Jessica is everything I wanted. She's beautiful, she's healthy, she's going to have a real life. And Lauren is she's just existing, taking up space, making everything harder. I sat there in the dark hallway, tears streaming down my face, taking up space. That's what I was to my mother. Not a daughter, not a person, just something that took up space. High school was a nightmare. Not because of the other kids. Honestly, most of them were fine. Some were cruel, sure. But teenagers are teenagers. No, the nightmare was coming home. Jessica was the star. Cheerleader, homecoming, court, straight A's. Her achievements were celebrated constantly. Trophies lined the living room. Photos covered every wall. I was invisible. When I made honor roll, my mother didn't come to the ceremony. Jessica has dance practice. When I won the school essay contest, my mother didn't read it. I'm too busy, Lauren. When I got early acceptance to State University, full scholarship, pre-law program, my mother said, "That's nice. Can you help me pick out Jessica's prom dress?" I existed in the margins of my own life, but I kept going. I had to. Because somewhere deep down, I still believed that if I achieved enough, if I became successful enough, my mother would finally see me. I was wrong. The day everything ended started like any other. I was 19, home from college for winter break. Jessica was 15, in the middle of her freshman year, already the most popular girl in school. I was in the kitchen, making lunch, when my mother walked in. She was on her phone, like always. "Yes, the party is next month," she was saying. "It's going to be beautiful. Jessica's turning 16, and we're going all out. The country club, the DJ, the whole thing." She opened the fridge, grabbed a yogurt, never looked at me. "Of course I'll send photos. It's going to be the event of the year." She hung up and finally noticed me. "What?" she said flatly. I swallowed hard. "For my 16th birthday, we ordered pizza." She rolled her eyes. "Lauren, don't start. You know it's different." "How is it different?" "Jessica is. She's." Her face twisted with something like disgust. "She's going to be somebody. She has a future. People want to celebrate that." The words hung between us. I felt like I'd been punched. "And I don't?" I whispered. "I don't have a future?" My mother put down her yogurt. She looked at me. Really looked at me. For the first time in years. "Let's be honest, Lauren. What kind of future do you really have? You're going to be in that chair forever. You're never going to have a normal life, a normal job, a normal family. I've accepted that. You should too." I couldn't breathe. I couldn't speak. I just sat there, frozen, while my mother walked out of the kitchen like she'd just discussed the weather. That night, I made a decision. If I had no future in this family, I'd make my own future somewhere else. I want to pause here for a second. If you're watching this and you've ever been made to feel like you were less than, like you didn't deserve to take up space, I need you to know something. They were wrong. Whoever made you feel that way, they were wrong. Your worth is not determined by your body, your abilities, or what you can do for others. You matter because you exist. Period. Drop a comment if you've ever felt invisible in your own family. You're not alone. Now let me tell you what happened when I decided to leave. I didn't plan to never come back. I just planned to leave for a while. Get some distance, focus on school, build a life where I wasn't a burden. I packed a bag that night. I wrote a note explaining I needed space. I arranged for a college friend to pick me up. But before I could leave, Jessica found me. She was standing in my doorway, arms crossed, smirking. "Running away?" she asked sweetly. "I'm going back to school early." "Mom's going to be so upset." She laughed. "Actually, no. She's going to be relieved." I didn't respond, just kept packing. "You know she wishes you were never born, right?" Jessica stepped closer. "She told me once. She said having you ruined her life. The pregnancy, the complications, the diagnosis. She blames you for everything. I froze. She said you were supposed to be perfect, Jessica continued. But instead, you came out broken, and she's been punishing herself ever since. Punishing all of us. I looked at my sister. This 15-year-old girl with perfect hair and perfect makeup and not a single ounce of empathy in her perfect body. That's not my fault, I said quietly. Isn't it, though? Jessica tilted her head. If you'd never been born, things would be different. Better. She walked away, and something inside me broke completely. I left that night. My friend drove me back to campus. I spent winter break alone in my dorm, crying, processing, trying to understand how the people who were supposed to love me could hate me so much. I didn't call home. They didn't call me. Spring semester started. I threw myself into my studies, made friends, built a support system that had nothing to do with blood. 3 months passed. Then I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Is this Lauren Hayes? Yes. This is Officer Martinez with the State Police. I'm sorry to inform you that there's been an accident. My heart stopped. Despite everything, my first thought was my family. What happened? Is someone hurt? Ma'am, I'm actually calling because your name came up in an incident report. My name? Yes, ma'am. Your family reported you as deceased. About 2 months ago. They filed a death certificate. There was a memorial service. I couldn't speak. Ma'am? Are you there? They said I was dead? Your mother reported that you died in a car accident in January. But we've been investigating an insurance claim, and something didn't add up. The accident never happened. The body was never recovered. Ma'am, I need to ask, are you alive? I laughed. It came out strangled, hysterical. I'm alive, I said. I'm very much alive. The next few hours were a blur. Police interviews, lawyers, documents proving I was who I said I was. Here's what I learned. My mother had reported me dead on January 15th, exactly 1 month after I left. She told everyone I'd been in a car accident on a rural road. Tragic, sudden. No body recovered due to the crash conditions. She'd held a memorial service. Family, friends, neighbors, they all came. They cried. They brought flowers. They told my mother how sorry they were for her loss. My father went along with it. Jessica played the grieving sister. And then, here's the part that made me physically sick. My mother filed an insurance claim. $500,000 life insurance policy she'd taken out on me years ago. She didn't just want me gone. She wanted to profit from my disappearance. The insurance investigator found discrepancies. The accident report was fake. There was no hospital record, no police record, no morgue record. They started digging, and they found me, alive, attending classes, very much not dead. My mother was arrested for insurance fraud, then released on bail. Then the charges were mysteriously dropped when the insurance company decided not to pursue the case. Apparently, my mother hired a very expensive lawyer, probably with Jessica's college fund, and made it all go away. Legally, she got away with it, but she couldn't get away from the truth. I didn't try to contact them after that. What would be the point? My mother had literally killed me. Not physically, but in every other way that mattered. She'd erased me. She'd told everyone I was dead so she wouldn't have to explain her wheelchair-bound embarrassment of a daughter. And my father? My sister? They went along with it. For 15 years, I was dead to everyone who shared my blood. But I built a life anyway. Dr. Eleanor Martinez changed everything. She was a professor at my law school. Yes, I went to law school, became everything my mother said I couldn't be. Doctor. Martinez specialized in disability rights law, and she saw something in me that my mother never could. Potential. You're one of the most brilliant students I've ever taught, she told me during office hours one day. Where does that fire come from? I told her everything. My mother, the wheelchair, being declared dead, all of it. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she leaned forward. Lauren, you have two choices. You can let this destroy you, or you can let it fuel you. Fuel me for what? For changing the world. For making sure no one else feels the way you felt. For proving, not to your mother, but to yourself, that you are worth so much more than they could ever see. Dr. Martinez became my mentor, then my friend, then the mother I'd never had. She helped me through law school. She connected me with firms that specialized in disability discrimination. She taught me that my wheelchair wasn't a limitation. It was a perspective that most lawyers would never have. I graduated top of my class. I passed the bar on my first try. I became one of the leading disability rights attorneys in the state. And I did it all while being legally dead to my own family. Okay, I need to pause here again. Before I tell you about the birthday party, I want to check in with you. Have you ever had to rebuild yourself after someone tried to destroy you? Have you ever had to become your own family? Type survivor in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. And if you're still here, please hit that like button. The algorithm helps more people find stories like this, and I think there are a lot of people who need to know they're not alone. Now, let me tell you about the confrontation 15 years in the making. It happened because of Aunt Carol. Remember her? My mother's sister? The one she complained to about me taking up space? Turns out Aunt Carol had always felt guilty about that phone call. She'd never said anything, but she'd always wondered what happened to me. 15 years later, she was planning my mother's surprise 60th birthday party. Big event. Country club. 100 guests. The whole family would be there. Cousins I'd never met. Relatives who thought I was 6 feet under. Aunt Carol was going through old photos for a slideshow when she found one of me, 8 years old, before the wheelchair, smiling at the camera. Something made her Google my name, and she found me. Not dead, very much alive, running a successful law practice, giving speeches, being interviewed in legal journals. Aunt Carol called me that night. Lauren? Lauren Hayes? Yes. Who is this? It's your Aunt Carol. Lauren, I thought you were dead. We all thought you were dead. I was silent for a long moment. I know what you were told, I finally said. It wasn't true, she cried. I didn't. Your mother. She said there was an accident. She showed us the death certificate. There was a funeral, Lauren. I brought flowers to your grave. There is no grave, Aunt Carol. I'm alive. I've always been alive. My mother just couldn't handle having a disabled daughter, so she got rid of me the only way she could. The silence on the other end told me Carol was starting to understand. Oh my God, she whispered. Oh my God, Lauren, what she did, that's evil, I offered. Cruel, unforgivable, yes, all of that. We talked for 2 hours. I told her everything. The childhood, the abuse, the night I left, the insurance fraud, all of it. And then Aunt Carol said something that changed everything. Your mother's 60th birthday is in 2 months. The whole family will be there. Everyone who mourned you. Everyone who believed the lie. Okay, Lauren? What if you showed up? What if you walked in and showed everyone the truth? I thought about it. For 15 years, I'd avoided anything to do with my mother. I'd built a new life, a new family, a new identity as someone who'd survived and thrived despite everything. Did I really want to go back? But then I thought about all the relatives who'd cried at my funeral, all the people who'd been lied to, my grandmother, who'd died 3 years ago thinking her granddaughter was already gone. They deserved the truth. Give me the details, I said. The party was held at Riverside Country Club. Same country club where Jessica had her sweet 16. Same country club where I'd never been allowed to attend any event because my wheelchair was too complicated. I arrived 30 minutes after the party started. Aunt Carol had given me all the details. The timing, the layout, everything. I didn't tell anyone else I was coming, not even Dr. Martinez. I needed to do this alone. I sat in my car in the parking lot, hands shaking. Inside that building was the woman who had erased me. The woman who had told everyone I was dead. The woman who'd spent 15 years pretending she only had one daughter. I could leave. I could drive away and never look back. But I was done running. I was done being invisible. I was done being dead. I opened the car door, got in my wheelchair, and headed toward the entrance. The lobby was decorated with "Happy 60th" banners. I could hear music and laughter from the main ballroom. Through the windows, I could see hundreds of people. Aunts, uncles, cousins, family friends, all gathered to celebrate my mother's life. All believing I was dead. The doors to the ballroom opened, and I wheeled myself inside. It took about 5 seconds for someone to notice me. Then 10 seconds for that person to recognize me. Then 15 seconds for the screaming to start. Lauren? It was my cousin Michelle. We'd been close as kids, before everything fell apart. She was staring at me like she'd seen a ghost. Which, to be fair, she thought she had. "Hi, Michelle. But they said you were." "Dead?" I wheeled forward. I know what they said. They lied. The room went silent. Not quiet. Silent. 100 people stopped talking at once. Every head turned toward me. I found my mother immediately. She was standing near the cake table, wearing an elegant silver dress. Her hair was perfectly styled. She looked exactly the same as she had 15 years ago, just older. Her champagne glass slipped from her fingers and shattered on the floor. "No," she whispered. Then louder. "No, no, no. This isn't possible. You're dead. You're dead." "I'm not, Mom." I kept wheeling forward, through the crowd that parted for me like the Red Sea. "I was never dead. You just told everyone I was." My father was next to her. His face had gone completely white. He grabbed his chest like he was having a heart attack. "Lauren?" His voice cracked. "Lauren, is that really you?" "Yes, Dad. It's really me. The daughter you let Mom erase. The daughter you pretended to mourn while she was very much alive." Jessica appeared from somewhere in the crowd. At 30, she looked like a younger version of our mother. Same perfect hair, same perfect makeup, same perfect expression of horror. "What are you doing here?" she hissed. "You can't be here. You're supposed to be dead." I smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. "You need to stop saying that word, Jessica, because clearly I'm not." Aunt Carol stepped forward. She was crying. "Tell them," she said to my mother. "Tell them what you did." My mother's face twisted. "I don't know what you're talking about. This is clearly some imposter. Lauren died 15 years ago. We had a funeral." "Did you?" I reached into my bag and pulled out a folder. "Because I have the police report from the investigation into your insurance fraud. I have copies of the fake death certificate you filed. I have records showing you collected $500,000 on a policy for your dead daughter while she was alive and well and attending law school." I held up the folder so everyone could see. "You didn't just abandon me, Mom. You profited from it." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Someone, I think it was my grandmother's sister, started crying. "That's not. Those are fake documents," my mother sputtered. "She's lying. She's always been a liar." "Really?" I pulled out my phone. "Because I also have the recording of the 911 call you made reporting my accident. Want everyone to hear how convincing you were." I pressed play. My mother's voice filled the ballroom, hysterical and crying. "My daughter, there was an accident. She's dead. She's dead. Oh God, my baby is dead." The same voice that was now standing in front of me, face red with rage. "That proves nothing," my mother shouted. "I was grieving. You were lying." I put the phone away, and everyone in this room deserves to know the truth. I turned to face the crowd. 100 faces staring at me. Some with shock, some with horror, some with tears streaming down their cheeks. "My name is Lauren Hayes," I said, my voice strong and clear. "I'm 34 years old. I use a wheelchair because I have muscular dystrophy. And 15 years ago, My mother decided she'd rather have a dead daughter than a disabled one. Before I continue, I need to stop and ask you something. If you were in my position, standing in front of everyone who believed you were dead, what would you have said? Would you have forgiven them? Would you have screamed? Would you have walked away? Type your answer in the comments. I want to know. And if this story is hitting close to home for you, please share it. Someone you know might need to hear that they're not alone. Now let me tell you what happened after I dropped the truth bomb. The room exploded. Not with anger at me, with anger at my mother. Catherine, is this true? My Uncle Robert, my mother's brother, stepped forward, face purple with rage. Did you fake your daughter's death? You had us all mourning, Cousin Michelle shouted. I planted flowers on her grave. I gave the eulogy. Another relative, I didn't even recognize him, was pointing at my mother. You made me stand up and talk about a girl I thought was dead. My mother was backed against the cake table, surrounded by the family she'd lied to for 15 years. You don't understand, she kept saying. None of you understand. She was broken. She was holding the whole family back. Everything was about her wheelchair, her medications, her limitations. I couldn't breathe anymore. I needed. You needed what, Catherine? Aunt Carol's voice was ice cold. You needed to pretend your child didn't exist? You needed $500,000 in insurance money? I needed a normal family, my mother screamed. The room went dead silent again. My mother was breathing hard, her carefully styled hair coming loose, her elegant dress wrinkled from clutching at it. I wanted a normal family, she said again, quieter now. 2 healthy daughters, a perfect life. And then Lauren came along, and she ruined everything. Do you know what it's like? Having people stare at you everywhere you go? Having to explain your daughter's condition to everyone? Being pitied? I couldn't take it anymore. So yes, I told everyone she died. And for 15 years, I finally had the life I deserved. She looked at me with pure hatred in her eyes. You should have stayed dead. The silence that followed was deafening. Then my father spoke. Catherine. His voice was barely a whisper. I went along with this because you told me Lauren wanted to disappear. You told me she'd asked us to tell everyone she was dead so she could start over. You told me it was her idea. My mother's face flickered. William, don't. You lied to me? My father was shaking now. For 15 years? I thought I was respecting our daughter's wishes. I thought she was alive somewhere, living her life, and we were just protecting her privacy. Dad, I wheeled toward him. Did you really believe that? Did you really think I would ask you to tell everyone I was dead? He looked at me with tears streaming down his face. I wanted to believe it, he said, because the alternative was accepting that the woman I married was capable of. He couldn't finish the sentence. Of being a monster? I finished for him. She is, Dad. She always was. You just didn't want to see it. Jessica hadn't moved since I arrived. She was standing frozen by the bar, watching everything unfold. I turned to her. And you, I said, the perfect daughter, the golden child, the one who got everything while I got nothing. Did you know? Jessica's lip trembled. Lauren, did you know? I repeated. Did you know Mom was telling everyone I was dead? She swallowed hard. I knew you were gone. I knew we weren't supposed to talk about you. I knew Mom said you had moved on. Moved on? I laughed bitterly. Is that what she called it? I was 15, Lauren. I was a kid. I didn't understand what was happening. You're 30 now, Jessica. I kept my voice steady, though inside I was shaking. You've had 15 years to figure it out. 15 years to question the story. 15 years to look for me. Did you even try? She didn't answer. Did you even care? Of course I cared. tears were streaming down her face now. "You're my sister!" "No." I shook my head slowly. "I was your sister. Before you and Mom decided I was too inconvenient to keep around. Before you spent 15 years enjoying being an only child while I was supposedly rotting in a grave. I didn't know about the funeral. I didn't know about the fake death certificate. I thought you just left. And you never wondered why Mom was so happy about it? Never wondered why there was suddenly a headstone with my name on it? Never wondered why every photo of me disappeared from the house?" Jessica had no answer. Because there was no answer, there was no excuse. The party was over. People were leaving. Some crying, some shouting, all of them looking at my mother with disgust. Aunt Carol found me in the lobby. "Lauren, I'm so sorry," she was sobbing. "I'm so sorry I didn't look for you harder. I'm so sorry I believed her." "You didn't know, Aunt Carol." I took her hand. "You were lied to. Everyone was." "What happens now?" she asked. I looked back at the ballroom, where my mother was sitting alone at a table, my father standing as far from her as possible, my sister crying in a corner. "Now," I said, "the truth lives, and they have to live with what they did. I didn't press charges. I could have. What my mother did was technically still fraud, even if the insurance company had dropped their case. But I didn't want to give her any more of my life. I didn't ask for reconciliation either. Some people might think I should have. She's still your mother," they'd say. "Family is family." No. Family is the people who show up. Family is Dr. Martinez, who mentored me and mothered me when my biological mother threw me away. Family is my colleagues who became friends, my friends who became sisters, my chosen people who love me exactly as I am. My mother had 19 years to love me, and chose disgust instead. My father had 15 years to find the truth, and chose ignorance instead. My sister had 30 years to be my sibling, and chose herself instead. I don't owe them forgiveness. I don't owe them closure. I don't owe them anything. 6 months after the birthday party, I got a letter from my father. "Lauren, I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. I'm not even sure I'm asking for it. I just need you to know that I'm sorry. I should have protected you. I should have stood up to your mother. I should have questioned the lies instead of accepting them because it was easier. I've left your mother. I couldn't stay with someone capable of what she did. I'm living with your Uncle Robert now, trying to figure out how to live with myself. I don't expect anything from you. I just wanted you to know that I see you now. I see how strong you are. I see what you've built. And I'm proud of you, even though I have no right to be. Your father." I read the letter twice. Then I put it in a drawer. Maybe someday I'd respond. Maybe not. He'd have to wait 15 years to find out. The same 15 years I waited for anyone in my family to look for me. Jessica reached out too. Instagram DM, of all things. "Lauren, I know you hate me, and I deserve it. I just want you to know that I've been in therapy since the party. I'm trying to understand how I became someone who let this happen. I'm trying to become better. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm just asking if, maybe someday, we could talk. Not as sisters, just as two people who went through something together." I didn't respond. Not because I was being petty, but because I genuinely didn't know what to say. Jessica wasn't the villain in my story. My mother was. But Jessica wasn't innocent either. She'd enjoyed being the only daughter. She'd enjoyed the attention, the resources, the love that should have been split between two children. Maybe someday I'd be ready to have that conversation, but not today. My mother never reached out. Not a letter, not a call, not even a message through relatives. I heard through Aunt Carol that she'd become a recluse after the party. The family had cut her off, all of them. Nobody wanted to associate with the woman who'd faked her daughter's death for 15 years. She'd lost her husband, her friends, her social standing, everything she'd valued more than me. Good. I'm not supposed to say that. I'm supposed to talk about forgiveness and healing and how revenge doesn't make you feel better. But honestly, Knowing that my mother finally faced consequences for what she did, it felt pretty damn good. It's been 3 months since the party now. I'm still running my law practice, still fighting for disability rights, still living my life loudly, visibly, taking up all the space I was told I didn't deserve. Dr. Martinez, Eleanor, had a birthday last week. I threw her a party, not at a country club, just at her favorite restaurant, with the people who love her. I'm proud of you, she told me. Not for what you did at your mother's party, but for who you've become despite everything. I couldn't have done it without you, I said. Yes, you could have, she smiled. You just would have done it lonelier. That's the thing about chosen family. They don't love you because they have to. They love you because they want to, because they see who you are, wheelchair and all, and they choose you anyway. My mother never chose me, but I chose myself, and that's enough. If you're watching this, and you've been made to feel like a burden, like you don't deserve to take up space, like the world would be better without you, I need you to hear something. They're wrong. You are not too much. You are not too broken. You are not too disabled, too different, too difficult to love. You are a person. You deserve to exist. You deserve to be seen, heard, valued, loved. And if the people who are supposed to love you can't do that, find people who can. Build your own family. Create your own tribe. Because family isn't blood. Family is the people who choose you. And you deserve to be chosen. Thank you for staying with me through this story. If it resonated with you, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment telling me where you're watching from. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're out there, living your own version of this story, surviving your own version of this pain, I see you. You're not alone. You're not invisible. You're not dead. You're alive. And that's the greatest revenge of all.